Hey guys, I thought I'd come in here today and just talk a little bit about chess pieces on the chessboard right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. We've got all of the, Russian warships down in Cuba. Everyone's having a heyday about that. Apparently, State Department or somebody from the U.S. government has told people not to, please do not shoot at the Russian warships. America. Anyway, so you got that going on. You got Russian warships off the coast of Florida, and you've got BRICS nations. They're now announcing like 59 countries are going to be participating in BRICS. We're very much now, I think, over half the world's population in governments. Or just where people reside in certain countries are going to participate in the BRICS. They're coming out with their new CBDC. So you've got India, that just basically repatriated 100 tons of gold from the United Kingdom. They said, no more. We don't want you holding our gold. We want to bring it back to our own country's borders. So there's just lots going on. There's lots of chess pieces happening. And you got the World Health Organization who's telling people that we need to start telling countries that we need to start forcing the pokey pokes. And a lot of countries are signing up to that. If you're in Canada, you're in big trouble. If you're in Australia, you're in big trouble. So these countries are signing on to this nonsense. So far, our country is not. And, but if we go with another election where funky stuff happens, that may be in our future as well, where they try to force that stuff. Anyway, so that's the chessboard as I'm seeing it right now. But, something this last week really stuck out to me. I know some of you guys out there are watching Southern Prepper 1's channel. Southern Prepper 1 has been a YouTube prepper out there who has been doing videos for a long time. It seemed like for a number of years, or a couple years, he took a hiatus but he got back on his channel, started doing, updates from people who sent in stuff to him, and those people love that. And he came out with some information this last week that was sent in to him, and he didn't want to give any intimate details of where he got this information. And I understand why. But he gave out the information, and it makes sense. It goes right along with other data points that I have been hearing, over the internet and, in comment sections, in all these different places, in other YouTube channels. And that was National Guard units do not have the functioning equipment to do their job. Basically, the information came down, I think this was from a couple different units. I don't really remember, but it was a couple different units where they don't have, their vehicles are down. Their vehicles are redlined. They are not workable. They are not safe. They were told that, and I had heard this from before from other YouTube channels where soldiers, even in active duty, line units, have been told that they need to use their own personal vehicles to go to training, to go to different, activities for their unit. Because, normally when I was in the military, basically you had your formation, you had your PT formation, and you had your morning formation, and usually you went from there to whatever training you were going to do, and usually a deuce and a half or a couple deuce and a halves pull up to the company HQ, and you load up. You load up your gear, and then you get on and move out. But they can't do it. Their trucks aren't working. Their Humvees aren't working. There was a convoy he was talking about, and there was they said, listen, these vehicles cannot run. There are safety issues. They're not ready to work. They're missing parts. Some of them can't even start, and they were told, too bad, get them on the road. And like within, I don't know, however long he said, there was a Humvee sitting on this, broken down by itself, sitting on the side of the road because it just broke down. So what's my point in all this? There are a lot of you out there, and I'm not trying to say you're fear-mongering But I think you're getting caught up in the doom and gloom. And you're worried that this is all part of the plan, that they're going to enact all of these crazy draconian controls. And I agree, they want to do that. Some of these people absolutely want to do that. They want to put you in 15-minute cities. They want to take away your food. They don't want you growing your own food or raising your own livestock. They don't want you to have that freedom and liberty. They want you to just do what you're told, get your pokey pokes, and stand in line for your Soylent Green. I get it. I understand they want to do that. But my point all along, at least for the last couple of years, has been they're not going to be able to do it. Because when you push communism to its logical conclusion, because that's what we have here, socialism and communism, you can't function. You know, everyone's freaking out about these Russian warships off the coast of Cuba. And it's like, I love watching historical military documentaries. And we watch some of these documentaries about the Cold War and all the stuff that the Soviets had. And they were a giant paper tiger. Half their equipment couldn't work. Never worked. And the other half that did work only worked half the time. They're like what we are right now. Our motor pools for our military, National Guard, and active line are a complete and total joke. We're funneling money into our military for some of our most advanced systems where everything else just gets the, well, you might get a little bit of here and there, but not much. You know, and they just passed, they had, I think it was a $24 billion pay increase for enlisted soldiers, and they passed it by. They wanted to do $24 billion, I think, for increase in pay for enlisted, and they didn't allow it to go through. They don't care about the little guys. They don't care about the line units. They don't care about the motor pools. They don't care about the small equipment. And it's not functioning. How are you going to enact your controls if your Humvee can't even make it down the highway? Because I guarantee you, people back in the woods, we're going to have fun with that. I'm just saying, you can't take on the U.S. government unless you have an F-15. You know, your F-15s might be flying now, but we all know the queen of battle is the infantry. If you can't hold it on the ground, and maybe that's what their point is. Maybe they don't want to hold. Maybe they're going to have drones and all these different robots and stuff like that do all their work. But how are you going to, you can't afford to keep other things running. How are you going to keep that running? My point is, what they want to do is not going to come to fruition because they don't know how to properly run a government. And if you can't properly run a government, if you can't properly run a society without getting all bent out of shape because someone ran a scooter over your rainbow fruit flag, then how are you going to suppress a people? How are you going to enact your tyrannical regime if you don't even know what bathroom to use? I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at right now, actually. And I think really the best thing we can hope for is a complete and total collapse of society. Because what's going to happen is people are going to get a reality check real quick about what it takes to survive and what it takes to, you know, actually... There are different needs and wants in life. There are things you need, and then there are things you want. And we have gotten those sorely confused. But that confusion is about to clear up. I believe that wholeheartedly. What do you think? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Hey, if you haven't heard yet, we're already sending people over to ITM trading. The economy is a mess. They are trying to destroy the dollar. They're printing it into oblivion. And our interest rates are so high that if the banks collapse, the FDIC does not have even a fraction of what it's going to take to secure your deposits. You know, the money that you keep in the bank, they don't have enough money to pay everyone out if the banks collapse because of the high interest rates. So they're either going to have to lower the interest rates, which means hyperinflation, or they're going to have to raise interest rates in order to stop the inflation they've already got. If you haven't noticed, prices at the grocery store are not going down. In fact, they're going up, and things are still getting smaller at the grocery store. Someone showed on Twitter the comparison of a 1980 Big Mac versus a Big Mac today at McDonald's. It wasn't even close. The difference between shooting a bullet and throwing one. So here's the deal. Listen, if you want physical metals, a way to ensure your wealth, because whether it's a deflationary collapse or an inflationary collapse, one of those is bound to happen. The way things are right now, if you have money, and I'm not talking about 401ks and IRAs, listen, I've been telling people this now. I've been pushing people to go do something like this for the last year and a half, I think. Back when I started doing that, gold was at $1,700 an ounce. And I kept telling people, I kept telling you, and then I told you again, what is gold at today? Yep. Higher highs and higher lows. That's all I'm saying. ITM trading, down below, there's a link. You can click on that page, click on that link, and they can set you up with a free consultation to figure out where you're at, what your goals are, and then give you your options. Free consultation. Do not pass that up. Physical, if you hold it, you own it. Physical. All right? So that's in the link below. Don't wait on that, because there are some crazy stuff going on. But what do you think about all this stuff happening right now? Do you think they're going to be able to enact these controls? I'm sorry. Am I crazy on this? Am I out of my mind? You can't enact controls if your Humvees aren't even running. Oh, and am I right? Is anybody else out there watching these old Cold War documentaries talking about the Soviet Union? Like, half their stuff didn't work half the time. Most of their jets that were supposedly carrying nukes over the Arctic Circle, they couldn't even get most of them up in the air. But they didn't tell, and no one knew about it for decades, because everything was so top secret. They wanted everyone to think that they were this massive, ginormous military that could not be stopped if they decided to unleash itself. But reality today is, we know it's much, much different. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. I don't think we have the ability to project like we used to. And I think it's because we don't know what bathroom to use anymore. Leave a comment below. Love to hear your thoughts. All right, guys. See you next time in the Homestead. Bye.
Hey guys, we know that a lot of our audience are homeschoolers. Homeschooling here is very important to us. And if you're like us, maybe you've had a hard time training your youngsters to memorize their times tables. Well, I want to introduce you to a program today that I think will help with that. This is Times Tables. It's perfect for small children. At age 7, my youngest son has his multiplication tables memorized. All of them. Times Tales is a series of stories that your child learns in a video. The video presents a simple story that your child can easily recall from memory and assist them in easily remembering the multiplication facts. My late wife Jamie made a video talking about how our oldest child still was having problems with times table memorization. Until we tried Times Tales. After months of getting behind and stressful struggling, Times Tales was almost an overnight correction and allowed him to get back on track with his math courses. So I want you to give this a try. They have different packages available, and there's going to be a link in the description below. Every purchase you make from this program is going to help the Homestead. Give it a try. It worked for us. I'm sure it can work for you and your child too.
I know my math facts.
Hey there. Thanks for watching our channel. If you're looking for great off-grid homesteading videos, this is the channel for you. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to like the video you just watched. You can also feel free to send us your questions by going to anamericanhomestead.com on our contact page and send me your question. Your question might get made into a video. In the meantime, check out some of these other great videos. Oh wait, go ahead and click them. Go ahead.